So this is a very common play. Penn State loves to run this one. On the left side, you have the slot receiver, and his job is to just sort of like fuck around over here. Like it doesn't really matter what he does. He sort of wants to like fall over and knock it open. And then the tight end also wants to fuck around, but sort of up here. This guy, we're just getting him out of the way. The quarterback isn't going to throw it to him. He's actually allowed to do whatever he wants over here because he's not going to get passed to. What really matters is the side that Drew Aller is going to throw to, which is the right side. The receiver on the line of scrimmage is running a nice little down and out, and the other receiver is running what I like to call pass interference bait, where you run up the sideline and you try to get as covered as possible. So you're going to watch as the receiver who's off the line of scrimmage on the outside here tries to maintain as little separation as possible from whoever is defending him around this area over here. So here, let me show you. See that right there? So what we've made sure to do is we have this receiver right here. What he's doing is he's holding his hands out as if he was open, but he's not open. It's a very important part of the play. And then over here we have the receiver running into the cornerback. The point of this is to draw pass interference. Unfortunately, Michigan steals the signs here once again. And so what they do, because they know the signs, the middle linebacker of Michigan pre-snap, here, let me show you this. He actually yells over to Drew Aller the signal for, hey, throw the ball into the middle of the field where none of your receivers could conceivably catch it. And Drew Aller confuses him for his offensive coordinator. Here, let's see this one more time. I mean, like, so maybe there's an invisible receiver right here. That is a potential. He would be wide open if that were the case. But more likely is that the middle linebacker over here yells, hey, Drew, I'm going to blitz. We're going to blitz. We're going to put you under some pressure. Make sure to throw the ball into the middle of the field where there's nobody. And you may ask, why does Penn State have a signal for this to begin with? That's sort of a antagonistic question. It's a bad faith argument. So we're just going to ignore that and move on. This play call is a fascinating one. I love it. So what you have here are the outside receivers and the slot receiver. Their job is to make sure that their back is to the quarterback like a whole 2.5 seconds after the ball is snapped. And they're doing this because and then you have the tight end, right? And the tight end sort of runs like this. And the reason he does that is because that's what tight ends do. They're very slow. They're very fat and slow, so they like to run short routes. Unfortunately here, as you can tell, one of the safeties of Michigan right here, he reads the signal from the sideline. He sees the offensive coordinator tell him, hey, throw a duck into the middle of the field. I want you to ricochet it straight off the defensive tackle's hand because the pocket's going to collapse in 2 seconds. And as you'll see right here, that's precisely what he does. And unfortunately for the safety who cheated, he drops it, which is karma in my opinion for cheating. It's a very sneaky play. You might miss it here. But Buddy right here, he sees the sideline, and the sideline says, hey bro, we're gonna need you to bounce it off the hand of the defensive tackle and just throw a duck into the middle of the field. It needs to be like nowhere near any of your receivers. And he keys on this precisely because he's cheating. Unfortunately, for Quentin Johnson, of course, as you'll see here, and this is a nice little replay, God punishes him for cheating by making him drop the ball. He tries to trap it against the ground, like a shitty little defensive back, because if he were any good at catching, he would be playing offense. So right here is a fascinating play, and this, I think, is the strongest evidence for sign stealing that you'll probably ever see in any college football game. So what we have right here is a formation where all your guys on the line of scrimmage are out here. So all these guys are ineligible and they can't go catch passes. However, we're going to make sure to guard all of them. Even though they can't really affect the play, Michigan is going to make sure to have half of their defense over on this side of the field in order to guard the ineligible receivers, just in case the quarterback decides to make an illegal throw over there and the refs forget the rules. So Michigan very smartly has 5 defenders covering the only half of the field that Penn State can actually score on. So this is the side we're going to be playing with. This right here, this doesn't really matter. We're playing backyard football here. It's a fun little 5-on-5. It's very in the spirit of the game, in my opinion. You've got the snapper right here. And just like flag football, actually, the snapper can go out for a pass. And the reason for this is because he is the furthest outside person on the line of scrimmage. So he is an eligible receiver, which means, yes, technically one of the people over in that big jump over here that I'm making fun of is actually playing defense properly, because one of these guys is eligible. The one on the very outside is eligible. That doesn't matter because Drew Aller is actually blind in his left eye and can only see the right side of the field. So as we're going to see, the center goes out for the pass right here, but just like flag football, the quarterback's just not going to look at him. And the reason for that is because centers in flag football are usually fat and slow and they can't catch. So you don't want to throw it to them, generally speaking. What he is going to do is he's going to make sure to find his open receiver. And by open receiver, I mean nothing, because none of the receivers are open. And this is where it's obvious that Michigan cheated. Let's see here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers, and you covered all of them. That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, this is a genius trick play if you really think about it, because so you have 4 guys and the defense just covers all of them despite this trickery. I mean, Ryan Whalen would be crying right now if he could see this. I don't even know what to say about this. This is clear evidence of cheating, and not only is it damaging the integrity of the game, but it ruined what would have been one of the greatest play calls of all time. And finally, right here, we have one last play. As you can see, we've got the kicker right here. And generally speaking, kickers like to kick it really far. However, in this situation, he decides to kick it towards these guys, which is an interesting decision because, I mean, those guys are blockers, and blockers are unathletic, they're fat, and they're slow. So this is curious because why are these guys here? Think about it. They are obviously expecting a big, long, big dick kick, goes all the way out back of the end zone. Everyone's like, oh my god, kicker, you're so cool. Please go to a frat party. And then they throw him down a staircase and he dies. But these guys are just like standing here. They have no reason to do that unless they stole the sign and they know that he's going to kick it over there. So he kicks it over here and they've got a guy ready to return it. Unfortunately, the returner falls over and he isn't able to get any yards because, like I said, blockers are fat, they're slow, they're unathletic. But that doesn't change the fact that this could have been super consequential to the game had he actually gotten up and returned the kick. So that is why Michigan is cheating, in my opinion.